All right, let's go ahead and edit our podcast in Audacity. So the first thing that we have to do is make sure that we are all set up to go, that we have Audacity opened and it looks right, and it does. Audacity always ends up in a multi-track session, so that's what you want. The other thing is we need to make sure we have all of our pieces of audio available. For this, remember you can download the podcast intro, body, and outro, and a song to play underneath it all from the Canvas site. So once we have everything together, then really the first step is to get all of those pieces in here. And so to do that, we need to import audio. That's the very first thing. We're going to go to File, Import Audio. And I have already opened it up in our folder, and you see I have the intro, the outro, and the body. You may be wondering where the song is. And that is because right now it is only looking for WAV files, and that song is an MP3. So you can click on all files or all supported files, and there it is. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these and click Open. It'll take a moment to import them, and there we go. The song is at the top up here, and it is very long. And then down here, we have the podcast body, the podcast intro, and the podcast outro. Now, one of the very first things that I'm going to do is actually make my editing workspace a little bit easier to work with. So I am going to make these waveforms a bit smaller by hovering over the bottom, clicking, holding, and pushing up to just make them a little bit smaller. I'll do that across the board so that I can fit all 4 onto my screen at one time. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm not really going to worry about this music track until later. And I want to put my pieces of audio in the right order, and I want to have my intro at the top. So in Audacity, the way you do that is with this area over here. If you click on the down arrow, it opens a menu, and you can move the track up or down. For this top one, I'm going to go ahead and move the track to the bottom. And since I'm going to be working on my voice first, I'm also going to click Mute. That will just mute it for right now, and then later when I'm going to be mixing things together, then I'll unmute it. My outro is number 3, but my intro is number 2. I'm going to go ahead and click down here and move track up. So now we have my intro, my body, and my outro. Next, we are going to actually start working with these voice tracks and doing all the stuff we need to do to make them sound as good as they can. And if we take stock here, you can see that they look a little bit different. This one in the middle, I recorded as sort of best as I could. This one down here looks a little low. It also looks like it might have a little bit noise to it. And the outro is way low. So we're going to have to work with all of these here. So the very first thing we are going to do is we are going to zoom in a little bit so we can better see what we are doing. Now, we've already run through this top bar here, but just to give you a review of it, you have your playback buttons and record buttons up here. Here are your tools. Right now, we're just using the selection tool here, but later we will use the envelope tool and the time shift tool. Here are your monitors for your monitoring your microphone input and monitoring your overall project. Here are a few more tools for cutting and pasting and copying. And down here are tools for zooming in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so I can see better those pieces of audio. There we go. Now the intro sort of takes up the big part at the very top.